65, rounding it out with 61. Your Powerball number tonight, good luck everyone, is 2, and your Power Play multiplier is 2. Let's take a look at those numbers one last time. Remember, there are multiple ways to win. We'll see you back here Wednesday night. Good night, everyone.
Telling your story. WCBI News at 10 now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. There are still bills at play aimed at giving new lifelines to hospitals around the state. Courtney Ann Jackson has some of the details of short and long-term options being proposed.
You do, just like, you know, in a hospital, you're trying to save the patient first. And so that infusion of grant money is intended to try to help save those hospitals, give them a lifeline to get through the next year or so.
Right now, Senate Bill 2372 would make $80 million in grant funds available, but the bill's author says that could change. CEO of Covington, Simpson, and McGee Hospitals, Greg Gibbs, is hopeful lawmakers won't equate size with need.
Typically, these programs are split up based on bed count. And so, you know, most of the smaller hospitals, of course, have the lowest number of beds. So, hopefully, we can prioritize the small rural hospitals in particular and receive a higher percentage of this grant.
Gibbs' group of hospitals are an example of successful existing collaboration, and small community hospitals are the focus of another bill still in play.
We're going to sort of erase these invisible barriers. Right now, it's like the Goldilocks mentality. You have to be not too close together, but not too far apart. You have to be just right, sort of in that sweet spot.
The bill will make mergers and partnerships easier regardless of geographic location. The most recent report last month showed an improved outlook for rural hospitals in jeopardy of closing, 28 at risk of closure, equaling 38% of those in the state, 19 of those at risk of immediate closure, 26%. But that doesn't mean all the others are in great financial shape.
Last 5 years in Mississippi, there are less than about 15 hospitals that have finished in the black every one of those 5 years. Even though expenses are low, revenue is even lower. And that's been the huge challenge that we've had in Mississippi for over 5 years, really.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
Another House bill is also designed to establish a grant program for hospitals.
As a resident of Mississippi, what I just heard is people are not able to get to the doctors that they need to give them life, despite this faggot having a job on TV.
It's also still alive after the last deadline day. We're going to keep following these through the process. Ashley?
Continuing in for Monday night, temperatures are continuing to fall with clear sky conditions. Temperatures right now sit in the middle.
Columbus police need your help to find a missing girl. 15-year-old Shalasha Jones was last seen walking on 6th Avenue North in Columbus Friday, February 10th. She did not show up for class at Columbus Middle School today. When last seen, Shalasha was wearing khakis, her school uniform shirt, and a black bubble coat. If you know where Shalasha Jones is, or maybe you need to call Columbus Police or Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers. Those numbers are right there. So it has been just over 24 hours since a gun battle at Louisville store ended with 6 people shot and seriously injured. Then last night, one of the injured victims, 23-year-old Devontae McMillan, died at a Jackson hospital. Winston County Deputy Coroner Blake Sheets released McMillan's name to WCBI. He was shot in the head during the melee at what?
That part you missed earlier was that the claim that I've already filed against this faggot and his friends is already proven that somebody made murder and genocide easy in this bitch over the last 5 years. Somebody made it easy.
Is known as Blackwell's store near Jones Avenue and John C. Stennis Drive. He was one of 3 people flown to a Jackson hospital. The other 3 were treated at Winston Medical Center. One person is in custody. More arrests are expected. We'll have more on that here in just a moment. So a gunfight, as we said, erupted in the middle of the afternoon. But the question is why? Well, that's the question everyone is asking in Louisville, including investigators. And they've been saying that the answer goes back several weeks and connects to another Louisville death. 16-year-old Montevious Goss was reported missing on January 11th. He disappeared, and days of searching and hours of interviews turned up very little information. That is, until railroad workers near South Church Street and Railroad Avenue discovered a body.
So while y'all try to figure that out without looking at the evidence that I already showed you, that bitch downtown named Tommy Lott is in charge of all this bullshit, you can listen to this faggot who coming over here bringing me citations from the Federal Protective Services that look just like this faggot on TV.
In a wooded area by the rail yard, was later identified as Montevious Goss. He died from a gunshot wound, and although investigators say they believe the gunshot may have been self-inflicted, his death is still being investigated. Now, Louisville Police Chief Sean Holdiness tells WCBI that his investigators believe friends of Goss were involved in the shooting, possibly in what they saw as retaliation.
Now, the faggot on this TV didn't say none of this shit he's saying on this TV when he come in this yard. He came over here and told a fucking lie. Just made up some shit, wrote it down, called me to come to court. With the whole power of the United States, that's what he did. Now, with his regular fucking image, this is what he did.
Believe it or not, here in the city of Louisville.
He come on TV. He come on TV and brag about murder and fucking genocide with my goddamn money in his pocket. But he won't come over here in this motherfucking yard and say that. He'll come over here and put on a goddamn show and tell a bunch of goddamn lies and tell me to come to the goddamn courtroom so he can take more of my goddamn money. He'll do that. But other than that, this faggot gonna do this.
Only a town of 6,000 people. We have two groups, and it is disheartening to say that even though we go to school together, church together, walk the streets together,
until he stopped being a faggot and come over here and say this shit to my face,
that these two groups of young men cannot get along for whatever reason they think it is. I think it's whatever, it's shooting at one another. And I just, it's disheartening to say the least.
He expects more arrests to come this week from the shooting at the store. And Holdiness says investigators will continue to look through security camera footage. And he asked if anyone has more information.
Just come over here, tell me you going through my motherfucking records and you don't see that you stole my money to pay for a fucking genocide. Come over here and say that.
The police. Now, after that shooting in Louisville this weekend,
girl,
people there are looking for ways to stop the gun violence in the area. Articulate Cummings went to Louisville to talk to those who have been affected
somebody
by
gotta
the
get
violence
that
and to find out what they think needs to be done.
You can't undo what's been done. We've got to focus on the present and the future. And we need to be here for each other and in unison work towards some resolve.
After the shooting on John C. Stennis Drive in Louisville Sunday evening, Mayor Will Hill and the community are looking for ways to stop the shootings. Mayor Hill says the community has to come together to work as a team.
We must stand firm.
Get you a witness.
Go
get you a witness that said they found Stassi fucking with faggots one day.
But we also
I need to know that one that told you that one day you can be a faggot, come over here and fuck with Stassi, and Stassi not try to take off
with
the
that,
fucking
there's
head.
hard consequences. It's being invested in these young people's lives and letting them know that there's a brighter future out there. Don't get caught in this trap of following what looks cool, seems cool, or what seems right for the moment. Because that one moment could end your life or change your life forever.
Those that grew up in the community agree. Homer Jackson says the home is the key, and starting early is important.
They're teaching at home. It come from the house. If you don't teach your child at the house, then he get out here to screen, he gonna be buck wild. That's what's going on. So I feel like the teacher should start at home.
Louisville residents like Terrell Cumbus say it's time for people to take an active role in their city and take their ideas to city leaders. and work together to solve the problem.
We're gonna have to get up and start going to these meetings and making suggestions on what we need to do. Some kind of try to come to some kind of plan to curb this violence, because it's very, very sad for our young men and young women to die on the streets like that. On the streets, I'm talking about senseless stuff. Yeah.
Telling your story in Louisville, Takia Cummings, WCBI News.
Community members are looking to law enforcement to help prevent violence before they have to respond to it. The Grenada County Sheriff's Office needs your help after 2 inmates escaped from jail, allegedly. Correctional Management Services noticed Claude Slaughter and Jonathan Miller were missing during a head count this morning. The 2 men allegedly escaped last night and stole one of the city of Grenada's work trucks. Both Slaughter and Miller are considered armed and dangerous. If you see these 2 men, you need to contact the Grenada County Sheriff's Office, the tips line, or 911. A woman in Columbus is charged with manslaughter in a stabbing death. Carla Hunt was recently indicted by a Lowndes County grand jury. In July 2022, Willie Jennings was found injured after his vehicle crashed on Shannon Drive. Once first responders got him out of the vehicle, they found wounds to his chest. He later died at the hospital. No trial date has been set. Former charges are read and bond set for murder suspects in Macon. 20-year-old DeAmber Shea Bush and 16-year-old Jaquays Shanklin are accused of shooting and killing London Rupert on the night of February 3rd. Macon police say shots were fired at the intersection of Washington Street and Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. Bush is charged with first-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and shooting into a vehicle. Shanklin is charged with felony murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault.
Information for small faggot. You own this fucking knowledge that come out of his mouth. That bitch do not own his fucking words. The public creation of a society own the words that come out that motherfucking mouth. So every fucking word that he say does not include telling your ass that you are suffering from genocide is a liability against that bitch in this state.
Yes, very letting the general public know that we do have somebody in custody. Though we got people that are actually charged now. It's still a long, lengthy process. We probably won't be able to present this to a grand jury probably as early as next year around this time. We send things to the crime lab. We're doing a whole bunch of technical stuff. It may not even be back in time for a grand jury in September.
But every fucking body that died from this fucking genocide without that bitch saying that word on this public television station is a charge of murder against that bitch.
Bush was denied bond. Shanklin's bond was set at $200,000. The man accused of killing his father is indicted by a Lowndes County grand jury. Bradley Peaks is now facing a manslaughter charge. He was originally arrested for murder. Peaks is accused of shooting and killing 45-year-old Larry Peaks Jr. on December 3rd, 2021. Deputies were called to Shirley Drive for shooting. Sheriff Eddie Hawkins says investigators arrested Bradley Peaks and seized a handgun at the scene. No trial date has been set. A shooting in Tupelo leaves 1 man injured. Now police are asking for your help to find the shooter. Tupelo police were called early Sunday afternoon about a shooting in the 100 block of South Canal Street. Officers found 2 vehicles and 1 home that had been hit by gunfire. Witnesses near the scene described a black Nissan Altima and a white older model sedan that may have been involved. Police were also alerted about a gunshot victim. In the emergency room at NMMC, he had what was described as serious but non-life-threatening injuries to the arm. Now, anyone with information on this case should call Tupelo Police or Crime Stoppers of Northeast Mississippi. Oxford police make an arrest following alleged online bomb threats. 29-year-old Lily Mestemacher is accused of false reporting of placing explosives. Police say they got information that she was mentioning bomb threats in Oxford on social media several times. Mestemacher was arrested in Conway, Arkansas. Her bond was set at $50,000.
Rain is on the way. The details in our forecast coming up after the break.
Yeah. Our new hostage.
Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle. Tonight, I want to discuss cardiac rehab. Cardiac rehab is a medically supervised
Utah County. Now, the source said the move's expected to be finalized in the coming weeks. High school playoff hoops upon us. We'll have all the highlights for you right here on WCBI. Those will start tomorrow at 10 p.m. And if you miss any of the action, be sure to check out our website, wcbi.com/sports, for all of it. We'll have it for you, and you won't want to miss out. Well, that's it for sports. Ashley's going to have one last look at your 7-day forecast for you.
ready for a rugged road trip? Then these
Who are you? On the alert, missing persons unit.
Straight ahead tonight at 9 o'clock, the small town of Louisville hit by a big city crime. It's a Sunday night shooting, left one person dead and several others hurt. Plus, children and staff got a Monday morning scare when a fire broke out at a Tupelo daycare. We have a live interview with the daycare owner coming up. Teen girls see a rise in sadness, and reports of suicide attempts are up more than 50% in a newly released report.
There is no indication of alien or terrestrial activity with these recent takedowns. Wanted to make sure that the American people knew that, all of you knew that.
Plus, the U.S. shoots down 3 more objects over the weekend, and the White House says aliens are not a factor. An iconic automaker is ready to embark on a new era of innovation. A $3.5 billion announcement today could spark an electrifying future.
Live, local, late-breaking. This is WGBA 9 News.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us tonight for the news at 9 o'clock. I'm Alyssa Martin. Tonight, we are continuing our coverage of a breaking news story we first brought you today at noon. A daycare in Tupelo caught on fire this morning. WTVA's Ethan Foster is back at the daycare tonight to give us a quick recap of what we know about the fire and how it happened. Ethan.
Well, Alyssa, right now I am here outside of the Academy here in downtown Tupelo, just across the street from Strange Brew Coffee House. If you don't know where this is, if you take a look behind me, this is the pile of debris and rubble out here, charred and discarded for the time being. I'll give you a quick look at what the inside of the building looks like. Take a look at this damage. Shocking. I know I was shocked when I saw it too. Here's what we know about how it happened. We do know that 911 got the call around 10:30 this morning, and Tupelo Fire got to the daycare just a few minutes later. They were actually able to get inside, get the fire contained relatively quickly. Fire Battalion Chief Terry Robinson says the fire was mostly in the daycare's attic, and that he's not really sure how it started as of right now. They will be investigating. The fire marshals are going to be looking into that as we continue through the week. Of course, there's a lot of damage on the inside, as you can tell from the video you're watching, seeing on your screen right now. Ceiling tiles down on the ground, lots of water, fire, smoke, and water damage there inside. The good news, of course, is that nobody was hurt. Students and staff members were actually outside of the building when they realized that that fire was already burning. We're going to have a little bit more on the daycare story coming up right now, but for until later, I'm Ethan Foster reporting in Tupelo for WTVA 9 News.
All right, Ethan, giving us that live report out there from the daycare, the Way Academy. Now, joining us live in the studio tonight, we want to thank you, Miss Tanya, so much for being with us. Miss Tanya Brooks, the owner of the Way Academy. We know that today has been definitely a stressful, emotional day for you, to say the least. So we appreciate you for spending some time with us. So just to start out, Ethan was showing us kind of what it looks like there now with the facility, the after. Might be hard to describe, but what was going through your head when you realized, wow, I mean, what's happening now?
Well, first it was very, it was surreal. We were outside. We had no idea the building was on fire, but just to see the smoke billowing from the top of the roof and the flames, it was very scary. And then I know everyone says that it's a blessing that everyone got out, but it's still very traumatic for the children and the staff to see that. So that was something that was very scary as well.
And you, I mean, you're the director and the owner of the
teacher.
You wear a lot of hats, and
Yes,
you were there
ma'am.
today. So, I mean,
I'm there every day. So it's very scary. We hear all the time about, and we see it on TV a lot, what the firefighters do. But to see it actually up close in person, it's a completely different feeling. It's a completely different thing just to see, you know, they have no regard for their own safety. They just go straight in. And just to see that, it just touched my heart. Yes, ma'am.
and tonight, talk a little bit about how you guys are feeling, the staff, parents. I mean, I know it's still initially shocking.
One thing about it, I can say for the staff and my parents, we're truly God-fearing people. And one thing about it, you know, someone said to me today, Isaiah 61:3, God would give you beauty for ashes. And today I seen the beauty, not in material things that can be replaced, but just how the community came together, how strangers came to our aid, the fire department, the paramedics, the police department, you know, just that itself, I thank God for, and we're sticking together as a family. I know God said this too shall pass, and we look for our beauty and all of the ashes that surrounds us. Yes, ma'am.
And I do want to mention, as we wrap up, obviously, a lot of questions for what happens next, but tomorrow is Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And I know that you guys were happy and excited about planning. Kids love to celebrate, and y'all were
Yes.
planning to celebrate this, holiday about love tomorrow.
It is.
Looking for a place to be able to do that now with your kiddos, huh?
Yes, that's another thing. We're actually in the process of trying to find a place to do a Valentine's party for the kids. We may not be able to do it tomorrow because it is short notice, but we're trying to do it at least Friday because I don't want that last memory of all of us being together at the Way Academy is traumatic, what they saw today. So I kind of want them to still have that experience. And, you know, Valentine, it represents love. And we want them to know that we are family and we love each other. And I still want to do that for my babies, even if we have to find a place for a short time to do that, go in, decorate. And so I'm just asking everyone if they know of a place where we can, get together and just host the Valentine's dance for our students. That would be amazing as well. We still want that for them. And like I said, we don't want their last memory of the Way Academy and our family, rushing out of danger. We want them to have good memories because it is traumatic for the children. It's something that'll stay with them, and we kind of want to balance it for them and give them, a lasting good memory of us being together for Valentine's Day. Yes, ma'am.
That's and very deserving for the students and the staff and you as well. We know that you've had a very tough day. So if anybody out there is watching this tonight and you have a place that will be open to house the students and the staff of the Way Academy, please reach out to them, or you can reach out to us directly here at WTVA. We'll put you in contact with Miss Tanya. We want to help them out as much as possible too. We thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be thinking about you guys and praying for you in the days ahead.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
And we will be right back coming up after the break.
Do you know Mama Jackson? My granny had to wet Mama Jackson's tape her. We love Mama Jackson. Mama Jackson since where it's at. Mama Jackson still get new tape. Call your mama, then call Mama Jackson.
For over 125 years, BNA Bank has been a stable fixture in Northeast Mississippi. And now we're deepening that commitment with the opening of our newest location in downtown Tupelo, BNA Bank Plaza. At BNA Bank, we're community bankers who know the power of local decisions, local shopping, and local banking, which keeps your money right here, funding everything from small.
Room with a gunshot wound to the arm. So far, no word on any arrests. It is now 11 minutes after 9 o'clock. You're taking a live look tonight in Tupelo thanks to our MDOT traffic. Our MDOT traffic cam. Things are calm and clear. Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon joins. Children and was a government intrusion into medical decisions. South Dakota is now the second state in recent weeks to put restrictions on gender affirming care for trans minors after Utah. Several states also took action last year. Louisville police are investigating after a gang-related shooting breaks out on Sunday, killing one person and hurting 5 others. That shooting happened around 2:30 outside of the Blackwell grocery store. That's right at the intersection of Jones Avenue and John C. Stennis Drive. 40 outlaws the prescription and administration of puberty blocking medication in patients under the age of 18 and also prohibits sex hormones and surgery related to gender transition. The bill's opponents say the measure would be harmful to transgender children and was a government intrusion into medical decisions. South Dakota is now the second state in recent weeks to put restrictions on gender affirming care for trans minors after Utah. Several states also took action last year. Louisville police are investigating after a gang-related shooting breaks out on Sunday, killing one person and hurting 5 others. That shooting happened around 2:30 outside of the Blackwell grocery store. That's right at the intersection of Jones Avenue and John C. Stennis Drive. 40 rounds were fired in what Police Chief Sean Holdiness calls a gang-related shooting. 6 people in total were shot, including a minor. The deputy coroner identified a 23-year-old man as the victim. Devontae McMillan died after being airlifted to Jackson. We talked to the chief and someone who lives near the shooting scene about what happened.
It's troublesome to even begin to think that in a town of 6,000 plus people that we have gang or young adults who are either east side or west side that have a issue with one another and for crying out loud shooting at one another.
It is sad to me that what happened, and I just pray that the community comes together and we can really make a change. You know, I came out because the community truly cares and we love each other.
Of course, this is still a developing story. The chief says his officers have made 1 arrest in the case, but more are expected. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin says recent aerial objects shot down by the U.S. are not a military threat to anyone on the ground.
Lot's wife, despite the fact that me and his daughter did not get along at all, we just sat next to each other. I don't know why everybody wanted us to, but Lot's wife was very kind to me growing up. I don't know if she even remembers it or not, but she was a homeroom mother. She attended all our little classroom parties, handing out the little cups and cupcakes and shit. But she seemed to pay special attention to me for some reason. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with her husband, but I don't give a fuck what's wrong with her husband when they flinging dead bodies at me.
Meanwhile, the White House is dispelling other rumors.
There is no indication of aliens or terrestrial activity with these recent trials. Wanted to make sure that the American people knew that, all of you knew that.
The U.S. military shot down 3 different aerial objects over the weekend. Defense Secretary Austin says the objects are a risk to civil aviation and a potential intelligence collection threat. These takedowns came just a week after a Chinese surveillance balloon was shot down off the coast of.
I know this much. You shouldn't have been following me. I don't give a fuck how friendly you were when I was a kid. I'm a grown-ass motherfucking man. You should not have been following me.
South Carolina. Teen girls are experiencing more sadness, and thoughts of attempting suicide are up more than 50% for this particular group in a new report. We explain those findings coming up.
Medical Minute.
And then if one of y'all got a problem with it, come over here and do something about it. Quit being fake. Quit sending your faggot over here. Come over and do something about it.
Ohio. This after a train derailment led to the discharge of hazardous chemicals. From Fox News, Kyle Alexander has more from one animal owner whose animals are really struggling.
Taylor Holzer and his family run Parker Dairy. It's just outside East Palestine's original evacuation zone. Taylor is an ODNR registered fox keeper. A couple of his foxes broke their legs trying to run after the initial derailment. One of his foxes even died.
Out of nowhere, he just started coughing really hard and just shut down. And he had liquid diarrhea and this went very fast.
Taylor tells me all of his foxes have been sick and acting different since the weekend. Some have abnormally puffy faces, including the one he's holding. He says they are not eating properly. Many are dealing with stomach issues and are acting lethargic.
This is how a fox should act. He's very weak, limp. His eyes are very watery and weepy.
Some of the foxes are pacing rapidly in their pen, another sign they are not well. Taylor says the train derailment is causing all of these issues.
Smoke and chemicals from the train, that's the only thing that could cause it because it doesn't just happen out of nowhere. The chemicals that we're being told are safe in the air, that's definitely not safe.
For the animals.
It's for animals or people.
Taylor hopes justice is served for the animals and people of East Palestine.
People's cats are getting sick and dying, and people's other birds that they have in their house that they weren't being able to evacuate either. Just, it's not safe.
In East Palestine, Kyle Alexander, WKBN 27, First News.
8 people are injured after being hit by a man driving a U-Haul truck in New York.
This is a U-Haul truck stopped successfully by the NYPD, ending a violent rampage through Brooklyn. They left at least 8 people injured. We have no indication that there is any terrorism involvement in this incident. What we saw today is a clear example why every moment of every day, the NYPD must be prepared for every possibility.
Police were able to stop the truck, pinning it to the side of a building.
You have a recording of the FBI want to discuss everything but my fucking property.
The driver is now in custody. A Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report finds teen girls in the U.S. are experiencing homelessness or sadness at new levels. CDC researchers analyzed data from the Youth Risk Behavior Survey regarding high school students. All teens reported increasing mental health challenges, but teen girls fared worse than boys across nearly all measures. For example, 1 in 3 seriously considered attempting suicide, up nearly 60% from a decade ago. 1 in 5 experienced sexual violence. CDC officials say we need to act to help save the.
I sit on a couch farting. Somebody creating bots that kill people. I wonder who gonna get blamed for it.
Lives of young people. They urge communities to support school-based activities.
One of us is spending trillions on a healthcare system that does that.
Which can make a difference in the lives of teenagers. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and sometimes that special day leads to another kind of celebration. Talking about weddings. We take a look at a local business that makes wedding bells ring. That story coming up.
Let's talk healthy. Are you getting all your Medicare benefits? For example, dental, vision, hearing, extra prescription coverage, and Medicare Part B savings program. With so many options, Jackson Insurance.
Maybe you should go and take a dance with the Madonna. You might even bump into Terry Schiavo and her husband over there.
Flower shop about how they prepare for the special day.
Coming in just about every color, shape, and size, flowers are a Valentine's Day staple.
Buying flowers is just a tradition that's been handed down for so many years, because you think of Valentine's Day, you think of roses, and some people that don't like roses just still think of flowers.
The Bus Stop Flower and Gift Shop in Houston is kicking things into high gear for their 5th Valentine's Day.
It's nonstop, usually don't get to sit down. People coming in, people calling, steadily running orders to the back. It just seems like that every day gets a little busier than the day before.
Co-owner Cliff Walters says customers can expect to pay a little more this year to keep things rosy, with the cost of just about everything going up.
We only went up a couple of dollars, and last year, we're just trying to put it across the board so that we don't hit somebody really hard at one point.
But Walter says that isn't the only thorn in their side.
Love is getting expensive, and here at the Bus Stop Flower and Gift Shop, it's really busy, and it's an all-hands-on-deck situation.
We have 2 or 3 people that work every year, and then we've got 1 or 2 more this year that are different, But we do usually at Mother's Day and at Valentine's Day are the main times we have seasonal help.
I even pitched in and made a few bouquets.
Do I start here?
Yes, ma'am. Just pull it straight down.
Well, I never said I was good at it. Even though this is a really busy time for them, co-owner Susan says just seeing their customers' face light up is so rewarding.
And they love to be thought just to make somebody's day and let them know someone's thinking.
You goddamn right.
Reporting in Houston, Michelle Martin,
Throw dead bodies at me, taking off your head.
Michelle, A for effort for trying to put together that flower arrangement there. Again, that was Michelle Martin reporting from Houston. And of course, it's not just flower shops getting ready for tomorrow. Local restaurants are also preparing for the big date night. Yobo's and Tupelo's getting ready to dish out some new menu items.
Let me clarify. If you throw dead bodies at me, I assume that you have dead bodies to spare. I have a body. It's mine. So to prevent you from creating a spare dead body with my body, I'm going to try to take off your motherfucking head.
Specifically made for the most romantic day. The second busiest day of the year for restaurants, Mother's Day. That means the prepping had to start a week in advance. General Manager Jennifer Kane says when the holiday falls on a weeknight, it gives restaurants another popular day. Kane adds that she made sure the Surf and Turf restaurant took extra time out to prepare for the big day. Most of the reservations were already booked up at Yobo's. The Salvation Army Women's Auxiliary is an important group with a heartfelt mission. They're the volunteers who help make every Salvation Army event happen, and they would love for you to get involved. They're seeking volunteers for their Empty Bowls event, which is set for March the 1st, the Tupelo Furniture Market in Building 5.
Our auxiliary numbers are down a little bit because a lot of our members have gotten older and with COVID have not been able to get out and volunteer. We need people before the event, the day before the event at the Tupelo Furniture Market to help us set up.
So for more information on how you can get involved and volunteer, just call that number listed on your screen, 662-213-7596. We are following a developing story tonight about a shooting on the campus of Michigan State University. At least one person is reportedly dead and multiple others are injured. The East Lansing campus is on lockdown as police continue to look for the suspect. We'll keep you updated on this story throughout the evening. Looking ahead, you still have a chance to enjoy some coffee with Starkville Police this Thursday. They're hosting Coffee with the Cop this Thursday morning at Chick-fil-A there in Starkville. You can see the address listed on your screen. It'll happen starting at 8 o'clock until 9 Thursday morning. And in Tupelo, you have the chance to get a taste of some of the best food in our city. We're talking the Taste of Tupelo,
You are
and it will be
one
happening
big
March 30th
faggot.
at
You are
Cadence
not a
Bakery
fucking woman. You are one big faggot.
Arena. One of the best events, in my opinion, to go to. My favorite. Doors will open at 5. It'll last until 8 that evening. For CDF members, it'll cost $25 to get in. It'll cost $35 for non-members. Local restaurants all come together to offer a taste of their menu. You can enjoy food and drinks throughout the evening. From a Chinese battery company. Ford says the plant will add over 2,000 jobs and help meet the company's clean air goals.
This Skilled to Work store.
The culmination of 12 to 18 months of planning.
Navy veteran and catering department leader Mac Pettit says the lodge is a family business. He gave me a walking tour of the place as he told me about its history.
This is my grandpa's old boat right here. My uncle died in Vietnam. It was Big Mac who I was named after.
Pettit says it was his dad who started Kingfisher Lodge years ago. His dad was coming back from a trip from Washington when he stopped at a restaurant and wound up writing his idea down on a napkin. His family built Kingfisher into what it is today in the nearly 9 years since then. In fact, they built it on their family land. He and his wife, sister, parents, they all live walking distance from the lodge. They all pitch in to help. Pettit gave me a look at the bridal cabin, the reception hall, and the place that's the highlight of the wedding experience, the altar. Right here is where friends and family will meet for the moment when the bride and groom tie the knot. As you can see, Kingfisher is surrounded by woods, making it a very private and special moment when the bride and groom finally say, I do. Even Pettit and his wife, Jessica, got married there. Jessica says working here is just fun.
It's fun being a part of everybody's special day, getting to see everybody's smiles at the end of the evening.
Max says a lot of the inspiration behind the setup came from Disney.
In between our lampposts right there, you got the Mickey ears and head on.
But to make the magic work, he needs a dedicated team.
You typically work on Friday, Saturday nights, some weekday events, Tuesday, Thursday nights.
Pettit says Kingfisher's catering department has about 5 openings now, and that they try to work around everyone's schedule. They're looking to add some more servers and cooks, about 5 people in all.
The good thing about the cooks is you do not need any experience whatsoever. You don't need to go to school for it. The big thing is you just need a willingness to learn how to do the job and a passion just to show up every day and do the best you can.
You can check them out online and give them a call to find out more.
It is now 9:42. Right now, you're taking a live look in Verona. Things clear and calm right now.
And these fucking idiots are gonna grow up and think this shit is normal. Fuck that. Fuck that. Not even finna make these fucking idiots my leader. Y'all check out their mind.
$95 a month.
Fucking
More than
idiots.
41 million Americans receive
All
help
this
from the
motherfucker
program.
to the fucking
Those looking
sea,
for
bitch.
additional
Fuck
information
you.
are advised to call their local SNAP office or the Hunger Hotline. The cost of diesel fuel is dropping here in the U.S., and it may continue to just go lower. Analysts say the cost of diesel is trending downward as the British and European Union ban on Russian fuel imports goes into effect to punish the superpower for its invasion of Ukraine. Crude oil prices are declining as demand drops. That's allowed the United States to rebuild its stockpile of diesel. Great Britain's Queen Consort Camilla, the wife of King Charles, tested positive for COVID-19. Buckingham Palace released a statement today saying Camilla's COVID diagnosis comes after suffering from cold symptoms.
Genocide.
She's canceled all of her public engagements this week. The 75-year-old also tested positive for COVID nearly a year ago to the date, shortly after her husband also tested positive. Well, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, but today, the day before Valentine's, is known as Galentine's Day. Galentine's with a G. In 2010, an episode in season 2 of Parks and Recreation featured a Galentine's Day party. In recent years, the idea has caught on in the real world. Galentine's is a day dedicated to women and for women to celebrate their friendships, their sisters, their families, moms, grandmas. Simply put, it's a day to honor your important gals in your life. We had our Galentine's Day party Saturday night. Always a fun time to get together with your best girlfriends. Stay with us. In just a few minutes, meteorologist John Belusic joins us. He has a final check of our forecast.
But I think
amount of the payload from the Chinese spy balloon from the ocean. It would likely contain all the vessel's sensitive surveillance technology, and investigators are getting to work on it right away. We all saw the Chinese balloon get shot down off the coast of South Carolina, but these other 3 are in very remote locations, and weather has been an issue in the recovery, so it could take a while before they know exactly what they are. Martha Raddatz, ABC News, Washington.
Martha, thank you. The State Department is urging any Americans still in Russia to leave immediately. Officials say U.S. nationals may be wrongfully detained, and those with dual citizenship could even be drafted and forced to fight in Ukraine. As the war intensifies, video shows a Russian missile strike that killed an American medic volunteering in the besieged city of Bakhmut. May have been a targeted attack. You can see the missile hurling towards the White Ambulance as Pete Ray was trying to save the life of a Ukrainian woman. They were both killed.
Here at home, we'll get a new reading on inflation this morning. A new government report is expected to say prices were 6.2% higher last month than they were a year ago. That's a slight improvement from the previous month. The Federal Reserve watches inflation reports closely as it considers whether to continue increasing interest rates.
And how about this for a special send-off that's now going viral?
Yeah, a California probation officer named Kevin received a present from his coworkers on his retirement day. They dressed as him on his last day, including his blue shirt and vest and even ball caps, as you see there.
And this simple video already has 4 million views on TikTok. One of the coworkers said that they planned his outfits for weeks in advance across their fingers, that he would actually be wearing that. Honestly, you know, it's his last day. So maybe he changes it. Maybe that's the day he changes it up. But
love to see it. Look at that.
Old family fun right there. Coming up, the official who's accused of hoarding bourbon.
Plus, in love with life, meet the skier who suffered a debilitating injury. How he's managed to get back onto the slopes.
And later in Skinny, the music group who has the Midas touch. You're watching World News Now.
Makes no difference. I'm going to Disneyland.
We're back as we continue to cover the morning's breaking news from East Lansing, Michigan. At least 3 people are dead after a suspect opened fire at several locations on campus. Police say the 5 people injured are all in critical condition. They say the 43-year-old suspect took his own life and had no ties to the school. We'll have more in our next half hour.
One of the Army's first Black Green Berets, twice nominated for the nation's highest combat award, will finally get his due. Paris Davis received a call from President Biden on Monday saying the retired colonel will receive the Medal of Honor. Davis is now 83. He rescued 3 team members in Vietnam during a 1965 firefight despite being wounded. 2 separate sets of Medal of Honor paperwork somehow vanished.
Bourbon hoarding has cost an Oregon official his job. Steve Marks is stepping down as head of the state's Liquor and Cannabis Commission tomorrow. He's resigning following news that he and other agency officials saved bottles of a rare bourbon to buy for themselves and friends. The liquor in question can sell for $5,000 a bottle.
Location is proving to be a problem for some advertisements at a bus stop in southwest England. The bus stop is across the street
Come over here. Come on.
from a crematorium. So an ad for McDonald's McCrispy chicken sandwich raised some complaints. McDonald's asked for it to be taken down. It was replaced by an ad for an inexpensive locals pass to an art gallery. Some called that just as bad as the first ad.
That's kind of what I was thinking there, to be
Not
honest
much of
with
an
you.
improvement there.
Yeah, crematorium and a McChicken.
Yeah. Not the best combo.
Just put a little space between that.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
right. All right, when we come back, the big news about Barney.
Plus, this year's highest paid entertainers and the only woman who made the list, the Skinny, is next.
I got
Ask that bitch if she beat her child while I was there.
Entertaining an old idea, bringing it back.
Well, the music, I mean, kind of gives it away, right?
Yeah, that's right. Barney is back. The series about the kind purple dinosaur ran on PBS from 1992 to 2010. And now Mattel is relaunching Barney with a whole new look.
Of course, it's going to be an animated series because, come on, it's 2023. Technology's improved. We don't need to be putting people in suits and terrifying cameras. This will be followed by a Barney product line in
Okay.
2025. What product line? Like, okay, toys, but what else?
Maybe shirts?
Shirts?
I mean, party shirt? Yeah.
You can probably get yourself a pair of Barney Crocs. We know you're a fan of Crocs.
Oh. If those go on.
He's the first in line.
You know how, like, you were first in line for Taylor Swift tickets? Sign me up for Crocs.
Big fan of Barney, apparently. Mattel says it hopes to tap into the nostalgia of the generations who grew up with Barney.
You know, fun fact, Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato both got their start.
Yes, I did know that, weirdly. I did. Also, some people online are saying that the Barney animated version doesn't look good. I think it looks great.
I think it looks great. Yeah.
Would you-
Like you said, it's an upgrade from like a random person
Yeah,
in a suit.
I think it's a huge upgrade. Look, he's jumping. This is great.
Yeah.
Smile on his face. Whatever you do, don't look up the Barney documentary.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I know, that's what you told me before this. I'm like, man, my childhood.
Okay, it's all good now. It's an animated series.
Patrick Mahomes taking his family to the happiest place on earth.
Yeah, that's right. Just one day after winning Super Bowl 57 with the Kansas City Chiefs, Mahomes, his wife Brittany, and their 2 children were spotted living the life in Anaheim, California at our parent company's Disneyland.
Hope they had some fast passes.
Right.
Yeah, Disney's busy these days. The
This
outing quickly turned into a mini
fucking
parade for Mahomes, as it should, as he
Ball
pulled around in a Chiefs
pile
parade car, and
shit.
then an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
the off season. Will you miss showering with the guys? Will you like?
I mean, it is a perk of the job.
Yeah.
You missed some of those times, but yeah, I know showering's at the top of the list.
I gotta tell you something.
Mahomes did confess, however, that he did not get to see Rihanna's halftime show. He said Coach Andy Reid told the team, if you walk out to see Rihanna, keep walking.
That's quite the ultimatum there because
Yeah.
I might have walked.
Yeah.
I mean, Rihanna's
Sorry, I know it was a Super Bowl and a crowning achievement of my career, but Rihanna.
But Riri, come on.
Yeah, it reminds me of Forrest Gump. I just kept running and running and running.
And next, Forbes is out with its annual list of the highest paid entertainers in the world. It might kind of surprise you, I think.
I know, topping the list for the year 2022, Genesis, thanks to the sale of their music catalog, that gave them a $230 million payday.
Second place is Sting, also thanks to the sale of his music catalog for $210 million.
And number 3, Tyler Perry, making $175 million last year thanks to his shows, movies, and filming facilities in Atlanta.
Brad Pitt landed at number 6, thanks mostly to the profits from his production company, earning him $100 million.
And Taylor Swift at number 9 was the only woman to make it onto the top 10 list, raking in $92 million last year.
I know
She
you're
hasn't
proud
sold
of
the music.
her.
She hasn't sold the music catalog yet, though, right?
No,
So she does. She'll probably be number 1 on that list. You got to think.
Oh, I'm
Right.
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it had to do with the Eras tour ticket sales, and then of course Midnight's dropped last
Yeah,
year.
and especially after Justin Bieber sold his music catalog, you know, the price is just going to go up, up, up.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, we weren't
Good
on
for
the list.
her.
Yeah. Good for
We're
her.
getting there, are we?
Falling our way.
You're
Yeah.
I'll be there in the year
one
2095.
big
Next to the tour
faggot.
we've all been waiting for from
Lord.
these two.
It only
I
comes
believe
through
that
one
diplomacy
pipe,
should be
faggot.
the cornerstone
One
of any
pipe.
foreign
The
policy.
owner of
And I can
that
see Russia
pipe
from my house.
is fucking
That's
me.
right. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler have announced a comedy tour.
Their Restless Leg tour kicks off in April and will hit 4 cities:
And I don't
Washington,
want it.
Chicago,
I don't
Boston,
want your
and
pipe.
Atlantic City.
The show promises to
Thanks.
celebrate their 30
I'll
years
take
of friendship
this
with an evening of jokes, iconic stories, and conversational entertainment.
In other words, just what we do here on World News Now.
Always striving to be Tina and Amy level.
So if you can't get to their show, watch ours, right?
Yeah.
It's also free.
But you should try
Yes,
to get to their
this
show.
requires you to fuck yourself.
Just in time for Valentine's Day, a special meal inspired by Cardi B and Offset, courtesy
Yes,
of
go
McDonald's.
fuck
I don't
yourself.
think of necessarily when it comes to V-Day, but the romantic meal includes a cheeseburger with barbecue sauce and a large Coke, along with a quarter pounder with cheese and a large high-C orange lava burst, plus a large order of fries and apple pie.
But does it come with macaroni in a pot? Probably not. The Cardi B and Offset meal available to
Payment. You get it all for just 4 easy payments of $49.95. As a bonus, we'll include our self-draining fry basket, stainless steel steamer insert, and the steamer rack. Absolutely free. And there's even more. You'll get our 5-piece granite stone bakeware set, the fast, easy, ultra non-stick way to bake up your favorite desserts. Together, they're a $110 value. Yours free. That's an incredible 20-piece granite stone set, all for just 4 easy payments of $49.95. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-960-8931 or go online to granitestonesash.com. That's 1-800-960-8931 or go to granitestonesash.com.
For Imprint, this is Lisa. Hi, I'd like 50 welcome wows and 300 customer. I love it. Promotional products.
Bitch gonna go to war with your money and don't tell you. Shh, it's a secret war. Shh. Fucking secret war with what? Fuck you declare a war against the whole fucking country with what money?
It truly is a beautiful life, especially if you happen to be in love with life.
Yeah, Will is back to kick off his series, In Love with Life, with one man's amazing story. Will?
Hey, Rena. In honor of Valentine's Day, we're spotlighting people who have fallen in love with life.
Ronald Reagan said it's a covert. It's a covert. The Constitution didn't say that motherfucker, but Ronald Reagan did.
This is Trevor Kennison. Yeah! Do you love your life?
I love my life very much.
Full-time life lover and adaptive skier and lifelong winter athlete.
You see nothing but white teeth. It was like he wouldn't even go inside to get something to eat. No, I gotta do it again. I gotta do it again. I gotta do it again and again, again, again.
7 years ago, Trevor broke 2 vertebrae in a snowboarding accident on a mountain in Colorado. Paralyzed at 22 years old,
Trevor's life suddenly became unrecognizable.
Yeah, it sucks what happened to me, but it's gonna be okay.
Despite the pain, despite the prognosis, Trevor continued saying yes to life, eventually returning to the slopes on a sit ski, and now returning to the spot where he broke his back all those years ago.
I wanted closure, and I took it to the highest extreme possible, and I was like, oh, well, let's do a double backflip here.
Trevor deciding to attempt a double backflip on his sit ski, a feat never before accomplished, in a spot where he nearly died in 2014.
It wasn't like I was mad at that spot, and I wasn't like swearing at that spot, and I was just, hey, I am thankful for this spot, because without this spot, I wouldn't have the life I have.
Now, Trevor soaring to unbelievable new heights.
Life has thrown a lot your way. What has inspired you to continue building this big, bold, beautiful life?
But what keeps me going is, the people around me, and, really realizing of, what I have in front of me. I could have died on the mountain, but I'm still here, and yeah, I don't have use of my legs, and
I can put small effort, very small effort of my daily life into placing several presidents on your fucking crown. Just me by myself. I don't need no help at all. Just by myself can put fucking presidents on your fucking crown.
I walk, but at the same time, I've done so many incredible things, and I've met so many incredible people.
Also incredible, Trevor has documented his journey back to that spot on the mountain and into the history books in a new film called Full Circle. It premiered overnight at the Santa Barbara Film Festival. Trevor says he's more comfortable, though, backflipping in a sit ski than he is on a red carpet.
I mean, just to think that he could do that after such a horrific accident, good for him.
And to have such a positive attitude about it all.
Such a cool guy. Can't wait to watch the movie.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep?
Are we prepared to calm down your violence and anger with a job and something to do?
What does being on American Idol mean to you?
I have been trying out for the show since I was 15 years old.
Never give up on your dreams.
I'm here to actually.
Do you have a community that needs to be built that has more value than you shooting a motherfucker in the head?
This journey is about proving people wrong. What got you into music? My dad, he passed away a couple of months ago. He always wanted me to come to American Idol, so I'm trying to make him proud of me. I cannot handle your heartbreaking. Just seeing you missing your dad just sucks.
You're making these grown men cry.
I gotta give him a hug.
You've got the magic in you.
This is gonna change your life. You have a yes from me.
Do you want to stand where Jonathan Terrell Rush stood when he made that choice for me, my mama, and my baby brother?
When everybody counts you out, make sure I never count you out.
What did you say you do again?
This is what I'm good at.
Data doesn't lie. People do.
There's no way she'd stick around if she knew the truth.
ABC WTVA, Tupelo, Columbus.
Breaking overnight on World News Now, the mass shooting at Michigan State.
Students say they were terrified after a suspect opened fire at several locations on the sprawling campus, sparking an hours-long manhunt. This morning, what we know about several people killed as the search begins for a motive.
Also this morning, the questions after a man went on a 40-minute rampage with a truck through busy Brooklyn, New York.
Plus, the growing effort to get students more sleep. School districts are now considering later start times to boost student productivity and health.
And we're not breadcrumbing you. It's Valentine's Day. We're celebrating with a vocabulary lesson on all the dating slang you need to know in 2023. Don't get the ick. It's Tuesday, February 14th.
You're one big faggot.
ABC News. This is World News Now.
Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday morning. We have a jam-packed show for you, but unfortunately, we have to begin with yet another uniquely American tragedy. Breaking news overnight, a deadly mass shooting on the campus of Michigan State University.
School police say the incident started on the East Lansing campus when a gunman opened fire inside Berkeley Hall. 2 victims were fatally wounded there. A third was found in a nearby building.
Authorities released 2 images of the suspected gunman. They say he took his own life after an encounter with police off campus and that he had no known affiliation with the school.
The campus was locked down for hours, but some students were seen running for their lives. Shortly after midnight local time, that lockdown was lifted. Students saying they're relieved the ordeal is over.
It was awesome to be able to come back, check on a few of my buddies, give them a nice big hug, and know that everyone's okay and safe, and know that we're all good now.
Yeah, I just say I'm like really grateful now. Like now, I don't know about everyone else, but I'm going home like first thing tomorrow morning. Like I just want to get home, safe and sound.
As the investigation ramps up, all Michigan State campus activities have been canceled for the next 2 days. That includes classes and athletics. We'll stay on top of this breaking story, the 67th mass shooting in the United States so far this year.
And there's more breaking news. A deadly rampage here in New York. The suspect using a rented U-Haul truck as a weapon. Police say the driver is responsible for killing 1 person and injuring several others during a chase that lasted nearly an hour.
This morning, the U-Haul driver blamed for a deadly rampage on the streets of New York is behind bars, accused of running down pedestrians. The truck cutting through traffic, barreling alongside storefronts. Pedestrians leaping out of the way. One barely avoided getting hit.
And I see the truck is coming very fast. I jump, on the truck. If he hit me, I'll be dead.
Police say 62-year-old Wang Soer's violent spree turned into a 40-minute chase through Brooklyn, allegedly challenging police to shoot him.
This guy with the U truck doesn't wait for the red light, doesn't stop, doesn't slow down, and all of a sudden he hit him so hard that the bike spin like 3 times.
8 people were hospitalized, and overnight, a 44-year-old man died of his injuries. Authorities say this was not terrorism, but may have been intentional. Wang Soer rented the truck in Florida, and police recovered items they say suggest he had been living in that van. A source confirms Soer has a history of run-ins with police, in which he was determined to be emotionally disturbed.
I thought it was an action film. I never saw anything like that in my entire life.
Of those 8 people we mentioned who were hospitalized, all are said to be in stable condition. The suspect could be formally charged as soon as today.
The military still has not retrieved any of the wreckage from the 3 unidentified objects shot down over the weekend. An official tells ABC News the first missile fired at the object over Lake Huron missed, and it took a second missile to bring it down. As the search continues for those objects, a significant portion of the payload from that downed Chinese spy balloon has been recovered off the Carolina coast.
A judge in Georgia has ordered the partial release of a special grand jury's report on efforts by former President Trump and his allies to overturn the 2020 election. Recommendations regarding indictments will remain secret for now, but a section on concerns that some witnesses may have lied under oath will be among the portions coming out this Thursday. Rudy Giuliani and Senator Lindsey Graham were among the witnesses.
Testimony resumes in a few hours in the double murder trial of Alec Murdaugh. On Monday, the jury saw horrifying images from the scene where his wife and youngest son were killed. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
Both gunshot wounds to the head.
For the first time, we're seeing body camera footage showing police arriving at the crime scene minutes after Alec Murdaugh called 911 to report his wife Maggie and son Paul had been found shot to death. An officer doing a brief pat down. Within a minute, Murdoch tells police their deaths are linked to threats against his son Paul after he was in a boat crash.
My son was in a boat wreck a few months back. He's been getting threats. Most of it's been benign stuff we didn't take serious. He's been getting punched. I know that's what it is.
Officers cover the bodies outside the family's dog kennel with sheets and mark shell casings at the scene.
They are dead on that.
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
Alec Murdoch growing visibly upset in court, wiping his eyes as the pathologist walked the jury through graphic images of the gunshot wounds. Son Paul Murdoch, she said, was first shot in the chest at close range, turning to face his killer when he was fatally shot.
His head was facing in the direction from where the shotgun was being fired.
The pathologist said Maggie Murdoch was shot multiple times with an assault rifle before being fatally wounded with a gunshot wound to the back of the head.
And this wound is in a clearly downward direction. It entered the back of her head, went through the back of the skull.
The defense will cross-examine that pathologist. The judge had to replace 2 jurors who tested positive with COVID with 2 of the alternate jurors. They're now down to just 3 alternates remaining. Eva Pilgrim, ABC News, New York.
Eva, thank you. Now to the weather. 2 cross-country storms are continuing their march across the nation. Both will bring severe weather to the south-central U.S., targeting about 40 million people. The second of those storms is carrying an increased risk of
Now he's got 62 schools going and a nonprofit that's helping deliver all of these boxes of Valentine's to all these folks who deserve it.
Incredible.
And a reminder today to spread a little love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make like Patrick and spread the love.
Okay, coming up, the most educated state in the union.
Plus, why a growing number of school districts across the country are considering later start times.
But first, the whale watchers who got the thrill of a lifetime. You're watching World News Now.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine. She doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy. Even a term policy? Even a term policy!
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-941-0100 or visit coventrydirect.com.
All right, team, we got a big project coming up. And it all starts with ordering promotional products.
I'm on it. 4imprint makes it easy to get the logo products you're looking for. The latest in apparel, drinkware, bags, high-tech items, and more. You can be certain of getting it right at 4imprint.com.
Come on out. I'm on it.
4imprint, for certain.
I see a change. I see it instantly. Look at me. I have a waist. You can see it.
I am so excited that I want to scream, okay?
Introducing Copper Fit Core Shaper, the new lightweight compression shaper designed to slim, smooth, and shape your waist for a fabulous look you're going to love.
I immediately was like, wow, wait a minute. I love this belt. It's giving me those curves. Like, I want to just walk out with it right now. The moment you put this on, everything looks seamless and you're just cinched like never before.
An ultra-thin mesh fabric so lightweight, it form fits beautifully to your body and is virtually invisible.
It just compresses everything. It gives you an instant boost of confidence.
Before, you would see straight. Now you can see curves. I feel sexy. I look sexy. I feel wonderful.
I absolutely love it. Anything that you don't want, it just disappears.
Adjustable double band compression straps let you customize your fit your way for instant shaping and smoothing to give you the fabulous shape you want and the support you need.
I automatically have like good posture. It's supporting your back. It's helping your posture throughout the day. I can go work out with it on. I can do things around my house with it on. I love it.
An ultra thin design, so discreet, no one will know you're wearing it. Wear it over or under your clothes for a seamless appearance. Look better, feel better, guaranteed, or your money back. Copperfit Core Shaper is only available at coreshaper.com. Get yours now for only $29.99 or call 1-800-585-5887. Available in charcoal and beige.
I am confident in my body, but there's always something a little extra. You just want to be a little bit sexier or feel a little bit better in your dress.
Look at this. Is that you, Birdie? Oh, yeah. You look good.
Available exclusively at coreshaper.com.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
I'm going to Disneyland.
We're back with a close encounter with a whale. These tourists in Hawaii got a big surprise last month when a humpback popped out of the water. One woman said the experience made her day.
Sleep is a precious commodity that's often hard to come by. Now, more school districts are taking note, looking to start later so students can reap the benefits of a little extra shut-eye. ABC's Derek Dennis has more on that and some troubling new data on teenage girls.
This morning, a growing effort to get students more sleep. School districts now considering later start times to boost student productivity and health.
We have like a scheduled sleep in once a month maybe, and I feel like everyone's progress on those days is like a lot more efficient and concentrated.
I think it helped me as a student because I'd get more rest and I'd feel more energized.
Ridgewood, New Jersey School Board voted last night in favor of changing high school hours to start no earlier than 8:20 a.m. instead of the current start time of 7:45.
Approval for implementation of the
Yeah, bitch, I agree with your faggot ass. You ain't finna talk about genocide like you are required to by this fucking Constitution.